Let's get deep, going deep, Chad and JT.
Ready?
Recording.
What's up, Stokers of Stoke Nation? This is Chad Kroger coming in with the Going Deep with Chad and JT podcast. Guys, before we begin, I want to remind you once again that we are brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped, thank you so much for keeping our trims pubes, for looking after our hogs. Guys, it's quarantine time, but that does not mean that you can't still Manscaped, because you want to make sure that your package is ready to go when you enter the world again. So use code GODEEP20 at manscaped.com to get 20% off and free shipping. The code GODEEP20 manscaped.com. And we have a guest on today, Tony Yacenda. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Director of the new show Dave on Hulu, co-creator of American Vandal. And then any other credits you want to throw out there?
A real documentary coming in May for Netflix too. It's called Trial by Media. So I did an episode of that.
What is that about?
So that's about a bunch of different court trials. That's a little redundant. A bunch of famous trials that were kind of contaminated by the media, and you're able to see how all the lawyers and the people involved in the case are sort of playing to the cameras, and the people are exploiting real people's lives for the theater of it all. So like OJ was kind of the start of that, and my episode is about this murder that happened after an episode of the Jenny Jones show.
Oh yeah.
And so that was a period where you had Maury and Jerry Springer and all of these sort of ambush shows where people would come on and they'd see their wife, and their wife would be like, I've been fucking this guy for the past 5 years. And you'd get the audience to all laugh and enjoy watching people like ruin their lives. And our show is about one episode of the Jenny Jones show. A guy comes out to meet his secret admirer. Turns out the secret admirer is a guy. And in the 90s, I guess that's a big thing, but they just sort of laugh it off. And then 3 days later, he kills his secret admirer. And our documentary is about that murder trial, and then the subsequent civil trial where Warner Brothers is sued by the victim's family. And so Trial by Media, the series, is talking about how then they made the court TV, like gavel to gavel coverage, its own sort of perverted television entertainment.
So did you pick that case, or did they float that to you?
Yeah, I was interested in getting into like more comedy documentary stuff. And I was having a meeting with the guys who do Chef's Table, and there's something like darkly comedic about these crazy ambush TV shows, and they floated it by me. And I thought it was really interesting and kind of like an indictment on the media in a way that American Vandal, which is like a 4-hour dick joke, is still like an indictment about the true crime and that sort of subsect of the media.
Nice.
That's cool. And go ahead.
No, go ahead, Chad.
And American Vandal, that was inspired by How to Make a Murderer, right? Making a Murderer.
Yeah, a bunch of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love Thin Blue Line in film school. I also love the podcast Serial.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you guys listen to that?
I did, yeah. I didn't watch the HBO follow-up though, but I did listen to the pod.
I don't know if it's an essential viewing, but I listened to Serial maybe like 5 times as we were making American Vandal, because they just got you to care so much about this mystery and play the rest of like, I feel like I can figure this out. Even the cops and the judges and juries weren't, but like, Sarah, we'll figure this out together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Errol Morris fan too, speaking of Thin Blue Line. I always like when I first saw Fast, Cheap, and Out of Control, it blew my mind that he could thread all those things together into like a kind of cohesive story.
Yeah, he's the GOAT. Wormwood is another one recently that, like, I don't know, it starts maybe as a slow burn, and some of the tricks he does felt a little over the top and maybe a little self-indulgent, and then he's tying everything together and it all comes. And he's just a master storyteller.
Yeah, he's insane. He seems like a weird guy too, like a genuinely odd human being. How'd you get your start?
I went to film school in Emerson College, which is in Boston, and came out here and just started making shorts for the web, like little comedy shorts. And then they would go to like the front page of Reddit, and they'd get millions of hits on YouTube back when people like cared about that sort of thing. So then I started working for College Humor and pitched on a Lil Dicky video, and then started working with him, and then started doing commercials and stuff like that. So just kind of leveling up in the digital comedy space for a while.
How'd you meet Lil Dicky, and did you know him beforehand, or you just through work?
No, he had that first phase where he put out some videos with just like his bar mitzvah money. Then he did a Kickstarter and got like $100,000 on the Kickstarter, and was using that to create his next like phase of music videos. So he reached out to a bunch of people who were working at different companies. I was at College Humor at the time, and I really loved the song, so I kind of threw my hat in the ring. And my pitch to him was that, like, this song, "Let Me Freak." Have you guys heard that song? It's a funny journey. 2015 or something. I thought the song was so hilarious, and I was just my pitch was, you don't want a music video director trying to elevate the comedy, trying to be funny. You want a comedy director who knows that the story you're telling is doing the heavy lifting comedically, and just grounding the world around it, and grounding the performances, and making it feel like a movie rather than a music video. And that pitch worked, and then we've done like 6 music videos since then, and then we've started working on the show.
Yeah, awesome. I just watched your episodes of the show. I just literally finished the mental health issue. It was really powerful. The actor who plays Gata is incredible.
Yeah, I've been watching all day too.
Gata is I've known Gata for like 5 years, because he's been Dave's hype man, and all of that stuff is
oh really?
Oh, that's real?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that he was able to tap into that place and be so vulnerable and open about it. But
yeah, it felt very genuine. Yeah,
it was a great episode.
But he was Tyga's hype man. He performed on Madison Square Garden and stuff, and then was like battling his own demons, and then met Dave, and has been like slowly chipping away at it. And this is like, it's so great to see him just hit it out of the park on such a national stage.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And dude, Lil Dicky's so vulnerable on the show with like, I'm a big fan of ability. The stuff about his penis is like, it's pretty incredible, because it could feel cheap, but it doesn't feel cheap at all. It feels very like earnest and close to the whole. It kind of elevates it, but it's
tapping into his like deepest insecurities. Like, those conversations are conversations he had with his parents when he was 13 years old, you know. And stuff that he was like, he didn't want anybody to know. Now he's putting out on Hulu and FX for millions of people to see.
Yeah, it made me laugh thinking like him pitching it, like it's gonna be about my penis, and then the people he's pitching it to are probably in their heads like, wait, is this real? Like, is this real? And then he's like, it's real. And then they're like, all right, we're in.
Yeah.
How could you not be in?
That amount of security. Dude, could you imagine talking about all your deepest stuff like that? I don't know. Do you guys do that?
I tried to. Like, I got herpes. I try to talk about that. But some stuff I don't talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, JT more so than I'm working on it. I'm trying to break through my walls, but I'll get there. I don't have herpes though.
Dude, get him, dude. Get him,
I'm
bro.
trying to
They're
get
out there.
herpes so I can be vulnerable about it.
I like that. You're owning it.
Yeah.
We did a series of Trojan ads with Dave too, because he's obsessed with STDs, and he's super neurotic about all of that stuff. And there was a time where he's like, you know what? If I'm ever like big enough to influence change, one of my platforms should be destigmatizing herpes.
Oh, really? Nice.
Like, it's just like it makes perfect sense, right? You're so scared of getting it, and the reason you're scared of getting herpes is simply because you have to tell people you have herpes. It's not for the bumps you have every once in a while. And he's like, if we can all just like destigmatize it, then we defeat it.
Yeah. Trying to do my small part. Yeah, it really isn't that bad. I mean, it's easy for me to say because I have them. But I mean, obviously, you should wear protection and try not to get them. But yeah, I think probably the stigma is worse than the actual disease of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'd much rather have herpes than COVID-19 or coronavirus.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm trying to dodge. How are you doing in your quarantine? How's it been going?
It's so weird. I'm trying to stay productive, like writing from home and stuff, but it's weird. I'm in a 1-bedroom with my girlfriend and a puppy. So it's nice to have company, but you also, when you just walk from the bedroom a couple feet to your desk, it's tough to sit down and be productive.
Yeah,
I
was
just making excuses for myself. I don't know.
No, not at all, dude.
Going on in my quarantine.
I think that's everybody's, dude. I'm losing my mind every day. I'm like, at first I was like, I'm gonna come out of this so strong, and now I'm just like, I just gotta survive this thing, and just come out the other end of it like with my self intact.
Yeah, man. What else are you guys doing to keep sane? I need advice.
I somehow got in my mind that I wake up every morning just like I'm so busy. Like for some reason I feel like I'm just more busy than ever, because like I don't know, there's something about the quarantine where I'm like, oh, this is a time where I can get everything that I wanted to get done that I just didn't have the time to do. So like I've been writing, I've been watching movies that I haven't seen, but just trying to keep up content and stuff as much as I can.
Dude,
it doesn't help me at all. That's what I'm trying to do. That's the goal, right? Everybody's like, you should be using this time to be as productive as you've ever been. And you're just I'm doing it.
No, I mean, that's in my mind, but I'm not actually like doing it. I'd say I've been playing more Halo and teabagging, dude, than actually doing that shit. But it's in my mind. But yeah, I don't know how to break through that. I mean, getting out, exercise has helped a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now I'm scared to go outside. Now, like I like ran past like a family yesterday, and I was like, they were old. I was like, they might be contaminating the air. I might be breathing in this like toxic old COVID air. I was like, I'm just gonna skip rope at my mom's now. I think that I'm gonna limit it to that.
And so you're with your mom too. So you don't, if you bring it back, you're bringing it to your parents as well. So the stakes are high.
Dude, she got sick last week with sinusitis, but my friend who's a doctor told me it starts as a cold and then it progresses. I just saw your puppy in the background. And then cute. And then I for like a week I was like, oh my God, I gave my mom COVID-19, and she has diabetes and stuff. So I was like, I killed my mom. And I'm a pretty dramatic person. And my old roommate had no sense of taste or smell. So I was like, oh, I passed it asymptomatically. But thankfully she's fine. And I got tested and I'm negative. But then feeling guilt, I started bringing lunch to the hospitals, to the emergency rooms. I just drop it off outside. But I did that a couple times after I got tested. So now I'm worried I have it again.
Oh, dude, that's awesome that you're doing that.
Well, I only did that to make up for the karma of going to be with my mom and maybe giving it to her. Yeah.
I guess that makes. I heard that my grandmother is having her her groceries delivered in we buy the groceries, and there's somebody in North Jersey who drives them to her. They leave it on the porch. She like desanitizes it and brings it in, and it's like a no contract drop off, and it's totally free because all of these people are like volunteering to do that for the elderly, which is so incredible. So I heard that and I was like, I gotta look in. I want to do that. I want to help, but I haven't Googled it. I haven't even started. And you're doing it. I have one passing thought, and that was 5 days ago, and I've done nothing to help.
Well, I did it a couple times. I feel like I've balanced my karma, and I think I might be retired. But who knows? I might get a hair up my ass and then want to do it again. But right now, I'm just trying to stay in and stay put and stay sane. Those are my stays.
We should do that.
Do you think comedy is going to be like? How do you picture comedy being after all this is done? I mean, I guess there's a lot of uncertainty in that because like we don't know how all this is going to play out. But have you thought about that at all? Like, what if comedy is going to be different, like tonally or something?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little scary. People, really funny people around the world are posting terribly unfunny stuff on social media.
Yeah.
So that's a little scary. Like, oh my God, this guy's one of the best stand-ups I know, and he thinks this video is funny.
Right.
Yeah, I hope there's more people like Chad who are using this time to just be like, to just work on scripts and generating material. And it always helps me to like watch my favorite stuff. I'm doing a Coen Brothers marathon right now.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
What's your favorite Coen Brothers?
We just watched Barton Fink last night. The movie's
that's
so
a good
good.
one.
I haven't seen that since film school. But Fargo is a perfect movie.
Did you watch Miller's Crossing?
Fargo. That's tonight. Miller's Crossing is tonight.
Oh, that's a fire one.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So hopefully like that stuff helps and offsets how stir crazy everybody is in the apartment.
I feel like there's going to be more of a demand for comedy, at least after all this is over. Just because I think people are going to crave, levity. So.
Oh yeah.
And so I think, yeah, that could be a good thing that comes out of it, I guess.
I just wonder if there's going to be like, if the comedies are going to be about coronavirus, or if we're just going to like go back to like a sitcom that's about regular people doing regular stuff with like no mention of it.
Yeah. Isn't it weird when you're writing stuff? You're like, okay, if this is taking place when we're out of it, it feels weird not to mention it at all.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got to at least be in like the prologue, like, and then after this happened, you just show like a montage of coronavirus in 3 minutes or something.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting though, because I feel like our lives are going to change so much, just the way we live. So seeing how that's reflected in comedy.
Because it's the only thing that ever happened in our lifetimes that's like this. But I bet if you really looked at movies in like the 1940s and you're like, how much mention of World War II is it? Could you just have like a comedy with roommates in the 1940s?
Yeah.
Or do you have to mention like, we're in a world war right now?
I don't know. I feel like you got to mention it, but you probably don't. Yeah, people probably prefer if you don't. I mean, I remember post 9/11, there was a lot of 9/11 movies, but it wasn't like the norm. Like it was most movies didn't deal with it. There were some really good ones. 25th Hour was really good, but I don't know if I want every movie to be 25th Hour.
Yeah, but the difference is like it affected us all mentally and emotionally, 9/11, but it really didn't affect our daily lives.
Day-to-day.
Like I got out of school early once, but this is like 20% of the nation is out of their jobs, and
yeah,
everybody has to stay in their own house. Like that, it's closer to like a world war in terms of
The
how it affects
destabilization.
your
right.
Your partner Dan, how'd you guys get connected?
Funny dude. We've been making shorts since film school. He was a super talented actor, writer, and I was more the acting major. I'm the film school major, and we would try to just make people laugh. So we had our group, and we did a bunch of comedy shorts when we first moved to LA, and with another guy, Sean Kerrigan, we formed a kind of a trio. Our first video we did, it was a parody of that LeBron James commercial where he's like, "What should I do?" And we did it with Brett Favre, and that got us like enough to get $1,000 here, $1,000 there to do a bunch of other videos. So Dan and I had been together doing stuff for College Humor. We did a series of 30 for 30 parodies that kind of led to American Vandal, like 30 for 30 Space Jam, 30 for 30 Rocky 4. So I guess I'm just like trying to get my YouTube views up by plugging everything I've ever done on this podcast.
Who are your biggest inspirations in comedy or growing up?
My favorite show of all time, my favorite comedy of all time is The Sopranos.
Yeah.
It's so relentlessly funny, but like that's not why you're watching it. The engine, you're watching it because it's like a cerebral family crime drama. So they can go 10 minutes without a joke. And that's why when they hit you with a joke, it just like lands so authentically, because you're not like, oh, here's my favorite funny character and he's going to come in with the punchline. So that's the stuff I like that excites me the most. It might sound funny coming from the guy who's like only doing dick jokes, but in success, like when you watch American Vandal, you're actually watching it for the mystery, as opposed to like, okay, make me laugh, funny man. And once you're like, once the engine is something that's not comedy, then you can really surprise audiences.
Can you tell us?
I've noticed that like in American Vandal, didn't you guys? Isn't the cinematographer who was the director of photography or whatever? He was like actually a documentarian. From Making a Murder.
Amanda Knox. All of our editors were all documentary editors, or at least hybrid documentary narrative. And we just did everything we could. Like when we had lookbooks for our art department, I'm like, I don't want to see any images from narratives. I just want to see documentary. And writer's room, same thing. It's just like, let's limit our references just to documentaries as opposed to like pulling from mockumentaries. If you can get the audience just playing the same game of Guess Who that they do when we're watching a real documentary, then we can really hide the fact that it's really a show about a high school and these characters.
Right. Yeah, because it felt very like grounded and real, and it's just like you just have that one little absurdity with the dicks, and that's sort of all you need to make it hilarious. Yeah, we thought that's what we needed to like to do the heavy lifting, and it's super uneven with like how often the jokes come. It's not a joke in every page. It's where they need to be. So I don't know, I might sound pretentious, like comparing that approach to The Sopranos or like Succession. I think is so funny. But that's kind of what we're trying to do. Those are our loftier ambitions, is getting the audience to like
be really checked in for the plot and the mystery.
Right. Do you have a take on who did draw the dicks on the cars at the end of season 1?
Yeah. I think we wanted to keep it. We didn't think it was as ambiguous as the rest of the world did. I think we like kind of set out who we thought did it, and then but we can't say for sure because like you can't operate on incomplete evidence, and if you did, you'd be no worse than the school board. So I think that was our way of like, here's who did it, but they can't say it.
Yeah.
And, but everybody has their own take, and that's fun for us too. Because really, it's just we wanted to do it a story about Dylan. Like the one kid at the center of the whole thing. If it's a lot of these true crime documentaries are about kind of dumb people that the justice system railroads, and Making a Murderer is about Stephen Avery, this like kind of Midwestern blue collar guy, and like what's the funny high school version is SoCal Stoner. So that was kind of the.
I feel that.
Did you write it with Tatro in mind?
No.
Because he was so perfectly cast in that role.
For a reference we used was, have you seen those Kyle Mooney? That SoCal character he does with the poetry and stuff. That's kind of what we wrote to. And we wanted him to be a little squirt. We never thought it would be like kind of alpha jock bro. But the way we approach it is like we have sort of archetypes, and then we cast a wide net in casting. And if you find somebody who feels really authentic, then you go back and you rewrite around it. And so Tatro just had an entirely different read than we were thinking, but it just felt so honest, and it was we knew that had to be the guy, and we had to.
The whole cast was amazing.
Cast this show around him.
Like when Mac, like the scene where Mac's talking to doing one of the interview sections, and she gets called out, and then she goes from like disbelief to like almost crying at the end of it. I was like, oh my God. And I think it's all one take. And I was like, this is like insane acting.
Well, my approach is because I was writing and directing, I was able to like know that the tricks we had with the documentary were able to like, okay, let's lean into like Jimmy's strengths. And he ended up improvising for days and days and just gave us like a wealth of material and brought this vulnerability, and we could pick all of the best stuff. And then I remember in the writer's room writing that Mackenzie monologue where she like breaks down and cries, and just thinking like, well, there's no way we're going to find an actor who's able to do this. Let's put the audition sides out there and see who does the best, but then we're going to have to find another like documentary trick to get that story beat accomplished without having like a oneer of just somebody talking like right off camera, because that's just too challenging performance wise. But Camille Ramsey came in and just delivered that audition, and we were like all moved by her audition.
It was moving.
She could just like take that scene as written because she nailed it.
Yeah, it was really good, dude. Also, some of the stuff, like some just the details, like the president who probably did it. What's her name? Crystal?
Krista Carlisle.
Krista, dude, when she gets leveled at the football practice, like I'm like, I didn't want to laugh, and I was like dying laughing at it. And then also when you show the kid Trimboli getting a hand job at school, and you animate it, and the red animation has a boner that's getting jacked off. Like that little detail that the animated character had a boner, I was like, it just made my mind run. It's kind of immature, but I was like, how long did it take for them to come? Like, did the first animation have a boner? Or were you guys like, no, we need to add a boner there's a big laugh there that we need to add in?
First of all, that's one of my favorite jokes too. And we argued at length about how big and cartoonish the boner should be.
I knew it.
Only through a couple iterations. But I also, could you imagine being like a producer on The Sopranos or Succession and hear me talk about those shows and then start talking about my show and then be like, here's the boner bit with the animated hand job and the,
right. I think they have some comparable. I mean, there's like the eating the jizz in Succession, and then in The Sopranos. I mean, anything Ralphie Cifaretto's up to is probably even more juvenile than anything else out there.
How good is Joey Pants?
Oh, he's incredible. That's my
more stuff.
Season 3 is my favorite because it's when he comes in. I like season 2 a lot too, even though people think that one's kind of like a mismatch because the mom died. But I think those 2 seasons are probably my favorites. And season 3 specifically because of Ralphie. That's when he comes in, right?
Yep. Ralphie's season 3, and then Steve Buscemi, I think, is 4.
Yeah, he's great too.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are some classic episodes in season 1 that I was in film school when I first started watching it, and I remember like a couple episodes in, just going, maybe I want to do TV, and
really,
because you always thought,
I'd
always thought I would do features. I mean, you have that hubris when you're 18 years old and you've won all of your high school film competition.
Oh, so you were doing it in high school?
I've honestly been making movies since I was like 8 years old. I've been saying I wanted to be a director.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, I was that precocious kid who. All right, I'll tell you about my first movie, guys.
Please.
It was a ripoff of the Karate Kid. It was called Karate War, and I was 7 years old. And you know how Karate Kid is about a guy who trains to beat up his bully. Karate War is the same thing, except for it's just him beating up the bully in every scene. And I was played by my best friend, Ethan Goldblum. And one day I wanted to, my parents were filming this, and I wanted to kick him off of the dock at Marsh Creek Lake. And my parents were like, no, you can't kick him into the water. His parents are picking him up in an hour. Like, he has all of his clothes on. Don't be insane. So I'm like, all right, well, what if I kick him and he jumps off, but on the bank, but then ducks down so we think he fell. And then, Mom, you push a rock in the water so we hear the splash and think he fell into the water. And that trick, it totally didn't work. But I knew that that's the first time I thought oh, that's interesting. That game of trying to trick the audience was kind of fun. And I'm like, okay, what's that job? That's a job, right? And they're like, yeah, that's a director. That's oh, Steven Spielberg and whatever you think when second grade. And
were your parents supportive?
Yeah. They've been very supportive.
Were they movie people too? Not working in movies, but did they like movies? I
guess my mom taught art in elementary school. She was an art teacher, but my dad was an accountant and then ran a insurance company. So it wasn't. I was not and it was in the suburbs of Philadelphia. So it was kind of a random thing. But I guess the fact that my dad always had the video camera around when I was a kid, I was always just so drawn to it. I don't know, kids today are for me, it was kind of novel because my dad had a VHS video camera, me being able to see that he's shooting something and then see the playback, right away was something that was super fascinating to me. But kids today are going to be so used to that, constantly creating content.
Yeah. What was your first movie that you loved as a kid?
Maybe Robin Hood. I loved
the Kevin Costner one.
No, the
Errol Flynn,
the animated one, and the Errol Flynn one. Yeah,
I've never even seen the Errol Flynn one. It's too old for. I can't. I struggle with that one.
When I was 4 years old, I watched that movie a lot for some reason. But I love Indiana Jones was the first one that I really got obsessed with, and I was
Yeah.
Indiana Jones like 4 years for Halloween.
I
How about
rewatched
you?
those
What was your
last week.
Mine was Heat.
That's your first favorite movie?
I think so. I think because it was like my mom loved it and she let me watch it, and I was like 6 or 7, and I was like, it was the first like adult movie, because even a kid, you don't understand like everything, but it's like a pretty straightforward movie that makes sense to almost anybody. And I was like, this is fucking badass. I could tell the action had more like verisimilitude than the action movies I had been watching previous to that. You know?
Yeah.
Like I was like, these are good gunfights. And these guys, and Val Kilmer's hot. Those were my main takeaways.
What a cool mom. If you give your mom corona, I'm gonna be pissed at you.
Dude, you and me both, brother. I've been struggling, dude. Lots of calls to the therapist about it. Yeah. She's hilarious about it, though. She's from Colombia. She's like, I don't give a fuck. I want you here. You stay here. You give me whatever. I'll be fine. As she like cheeks a cigarette. I'm like, all right.
Oh,
yeah. It's scary though, man. I mean, did you guys see about Boris Johnson today? The fucking Prime Minister of England is in ICU.
Yeah.
Intensive care, yeah.
Insane.
Dude, this thing does not care. It is a...
Yeah, I watched the news all morning. It's horrible.
What? Are you out of your mind?
I couldn't help it. I just had one of those days.
Yeah.
I just couldn't stop. Have you been watching the news, Tony, or you been staying away?
Yeah, from time to time I'll watch some of those Donald Trump pressers.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah, it is. Brutal. What a show. It is insane.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
the timeline we're living in.
I try not to swerve into politics too much, but it's hard not for me to think like what could have been different if things were different at the top positions. But
yeah, I don't think you have to be hugely political to look at those press conferences and be like, oh, we're all watching this, right? We're all seeing this.
Yeah.
Were you in the middle of like any big projects that had to be on pause from this? Or were you kind of like in between?
I was lucky enough that nothing was like about to go in production, that we have a couple things in post, and then a couple things in earlier development. So
are you still able to work on things in post, or is it you guys?
Yeah, for some of them I'd love to like get in a bay, and it's way more productive than just like getting a cut and then giving notes. But it's not like other people who are halfway through production and have to shut it down and lose millions of dollars. And,
it's crazy
too. And the fact that like once the train leaves the station on projects like that, you just gotta keep going and building the track in front of the train. And now that you're stopped, you have this like unique ability to keep looking back at the scripts, and maybe you'll overthink some things, maybe, but the ability to keep circling back and revisiting all of the scripts and stuff could be a good thing for you guys.
Yeah, I always reference Deadwood. I guess Deadwood. I didn't even watch it, but I heard Timothy Olyphant talk about it. I guess they had one season built around this kid, and the kid's mom was a dick. So Milch just killed the kid in the first episode and just rewrote the whole season. And everyone says it was their best season. So
what?
Yeah,
like writing it on the fly.
I guess something like that, or like with just a couple weeks before to go. The kid's mom was just a nightmare, and he's like, you know, I'm not going to deal with this, and just rewrote the whole thing, and it came out great. So that's always the thing I go back to. I'm like, I mean, obviously he's doing a different thing than what I'm doing, but I'm like, all right, well, just trust in the process, I guess, and in your instinct.
That's such a gangster move.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine having a mom that sucks that much.
Yeah, that kid must be pissed, dude. I heard I don't think he's gotten over it.
Yeah.
He ended up being on that show Blind Justice instead. I'm kidding. The one where the cop's blind.
Is that? Oh yeah. What? Is that a real show?
Yeah, that was real.
Yeah.
He had a great model.
It's based on a movie, I think. Or
Oh, really?
A movie with Rutger Hauer that was very similar in the late 80s.
Huh.
He has a good monologue where he's like, I did 2 tours in Iraq. I served in the toughest drug crimes unit in New York City, and I will make this work. Talk about being blocked. Yeah, I get it, dude. What talking about directing and stuff. So when you like kind of graduated, I guess, from doing like smaller stuff to working on bigger sets like American Vandal, how did you transition into like kind of that leadership role when you're dealing with like a 50-person crew rather than like a 6-person crew or something?
Yeah, it was, I think it kind of helped that it was such a weird show. And I knew like I had to make it look like these documentaries for it to work, and that I was the only one like really policing that. So I just felt a little bit more comfortable with fighting those battles because there was like a real sort of rigid philosophy to it. I had another another showrunner gave me like really good advice. He said that like what the show is, like the rules of what the show is and what it isn't, and if you're getting notes or you're getting pushed of something that is just like not the show, just against the rules, you have to fight to the death. But most little decisions you're making aren't something that violate the rules of the world. Those are just like the guide, and then there's like a ton of negotiation within those guardrails, right? So it is not a dictatorship. It's super collaborative. Even if you prefer one joke over the other or one casting decision over the other, if it doesn't violate what the show is, you can be like super collaborative. And that was that's a philosophy I really agree with, and it was kind of clarifying and liberating, where like it needs to feel real, it needs to feel true crime, and it needs to feel like a premium documentary. And those are the things I'm like constantly policing. And then otherwise, like I can lean on Jimmy Tatro, I can lean on Dan Peralt, I can lean on our cinematographer Adam Bricker, and feeling the help around you, like that 50-person crew makes you feel much stronger and more capable if you kind of know just the very core principles. A really long answer.
Oh, that's a good answer.
How did you come up with the idea for using like the found footage, like Snapchat, to tell the story?
Well, we knew we were telling the story of a high school, and it was just like a natural thing. Like we were watching these documentaries, and it's all like phone calls and police reports and voicemails and whatever evidence they can scrape together. And like, well, if it was high school today, you would have all of this media. So that was one of the fun sort of assets of the show. And so like in those very first pitches, we talked about how we could do it in a way that doesn't feel gimmicky. I feel like in a lot of TV comedies, you see cell phone videos and people recording like a vlog or something, and it feels like a old person writing social media content, and we tried our best to keep it as familiar to the stuff that we see on those platforms as we could.
You guys drilled in Dave too with the end of episode 4, like with him going viral. That was so well done. Yeah.
For that montage, Dave and I took the cell phone everywhere, and he had that crazy zoot suit, and we went to the Rams Seahawks game, Sunday Night Football, and we had him and there was all of this great footage. He even got on the Jumbotron, and we have all of these great clips of him yelling, "Somebody suck me" at the Coliseum. And then Disney Legal said we couldn't use any of them.
You couldn't get it cleared? Oh, that sucks.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
So it's just cell phone footage. We had, but.
Man, people are the worst. That's why it's like, because like when we started working on something where we were working for like bigger companies, I was like, oh, this is going to make it a lot easier. But it's easy the way we just go out into public. We don't release this. We don't have to worry about the music. We don't have to worry about like who's in the shot. We can literally just do anything. It's kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, there's pros and cons to both ways, but I kind of
Pros and
love the guerrilla stuff.
Totally. There's a lot more people who can help you on the bigger stuff, and a lot more people who can say no.
What are you watching now in your quarantine? Besides the Coen Brothers, I guess that's what you're watching.
My girlfriend is. I saw the first season of Ozark, and now my girlfriend is catching up, and then we're gonna do the next 2 seasons together. So,
Nice.
It's too bleak for me.
It is. It's well done though. The performances are so good.
Did you watch? Did you watch The Outsider?
No, I haven't seen it. It's good.
Yeah, it's good. I'm finishing that up. It's on HBO.
Is this
That's also Jason Bateman and Ben Mendelsohn. But yeah, it's something to watch.
Is it scary?
Yeah. Well, the first 2 episodes are pretty crazy because so many people die, and then there's just like there's a little paranormal. It's Stephen King, so there's some paranormal stuff in there. And so the first 2 episodes are really intense, and then it gets kind of slow, and then it builds back up again. But yeah, check out the first 2 episodes for sure.
Yeah, the episode of Dave that dealt with death, it hit harder in these conditions. I was like, the one about the kid passing away. I was like, oh man.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you notice in my episode, in episode 4, there was a beat where young Thug is talking about how he's friends with Tom Hanks, and then and then passes a joint to Dave, and then coughs, and Dave's like, "Whoa, is that?" He's like, "I'm not contagious." And he's like, "How do you know if you're contagious?" And we shot that back in October maybe.
Dude, do you feel like you put bad juju on Hanks?
I don't know, man. Young Doug is the coolest guy in the world. It was so intimidating. But after we were like reading that line to him, he's like, thing is, I don't know Tom Hanks. Is he gonna think I'm like, I don't want to piss off Tom Hanks, pretend like I know Tom Hanks, but I'm not friends with Tom Hanks. And we're like, I think we're just joking that like the world of celebrities is so foreign to everybody that it's possible that young Thug could be friends with Tom Hanks. And he's like, all right, I like it. And then he did it. And he's just so effortlessly cool.
Yeah, he seems like a really cool guy. Was that had you directed, like, I know you direct Lil Dicky, but had you directed other rappers before or worked with them before?
Yeah. So it's interesting in the show too, because there's like rapper time is different than like normal actor time. So you have to be ready to shoot when they arrive, and that's its own sort of challenge. But it's
because they like roll in, they're like, all right, I'm ready to shoot, and they're not gonna like chill in the trailer and wait for like a PA to grab them or something. Yeah,
that's absolutely true. And their manager will be like, yeah, he'll probably show up in this window. It's like a cable company.
Yeah. I'm friends with Clay Thompson. We went to high school together, and I asked him to do the podcast. And the day before he was supposed to do it, I go, Clay, what? I'm like, we're starting at noon. He's like, just start without me. And I was like, it's a podcast, dude. It doesn't really work like that. But he was already gone. He like had already walked away.
Oh man, how was Clay Thompson in high school? He's so good.
He was really nice. I don't think anyone expected that he would be this great. I mean, we thought he'd be like a good Pac-10 player, and then maybe he'd be a good like player off the bench, like maybe like a Kyle Korver Jr. or something like that. And then he just got way more laterally quick, and his confidence just skyrocketed, and the NBA changed, and it was kind of like this perfect storm. And now it's like, who knows what he's capable of.
Where was he drafted?
He was drafted 11th, and I think it was because Jerry West kind of saw where the league was going. And I think Jerry West was the guy who drafted him, which is so fucking cool. But and then they wouldn't trade him for Kevin Love, which even I at the time, as his buddy and like biggest fan, was like, that's crazy. You got to trade Clay for Kevin Love. And then of course, the Warriors ended up being right, and
Yeah.
crushing all these chips and being loved and hated, and he's still super cool. But I'm always asking him for stuff when I text him, so he doesn't get back to me super quick. But it's also I'm always asking him for shit.
Yeah. And he's Klay Thompson also.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
imagine
he is.
an NBA star? That's the coolest, right? If you
Yeah.
could be anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I-
So we
they-
we were around a bunch of athletes recently, a bunch of like baseball players, and we're like, these guys are they just had so much like effortless confidence. They're just like so much cooler, and we're just like, God damn, like these, like they just had so much swagger, and you can just feel it with athletes.
Dave is friends with a lot of the guys on the Sixers. So he invited me out one night, and he's like, just remember, these guys are kids, and we're losers. Sums it all up.
Yeah, I
Like,
was
like 20 years old, and then we're 10 years older than them, and we're just losers.
Yeah. They look invincible, and they carry themselves like they are. I think acting and entertainment allows for a little more self-doubt. I don't think there's any space for that in athletics. You got to like really just be the man, and it's a convincing performance. I'm like, yeah, you are the man. Yeah, I remember when Clay found out I was like, because I was doing comedy, but I was driving Postmates, and I told him I drove Postmates, and he was just like, what? Like he was so shocked. He was like, you got Postmates? Why? And then I asked him if he was strong for a 2-guard, and he was even more shocked by that. He was like, I'm the strongest 2-guard in the league. I was like, I don't think you're stronger than James Harden. Yeah. Dude, also, I was stoked. Because I've been doing comedy in LA for a while. One of my favorite comedians, genuinely always, was Ryan Flanagan. And and I loved his sketch group, loved his stand-up. I loved his videos, and then I saw him. You put him in your episode of Dave too.
Yeah, I saw that.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of my best friends. We went to Japan together. We even have he's the one person we have a quarantine pack with. So
oh, really?
He's living alone, but it's me, my girlfriend, and Ryan sometimes comes over because he's right down the street.
I Instagrammed him last night. I said, dude, I watched you on American Vandal. You were fucking amazing. Like, I felt so his every line reading he gave cracked me up. I laughed.
He's so funny.
Off. Yeah.
That's another one. That character was supposed to be like 45 years old and kind of overcompensating, trying to be cool. But I had seen a sketch group, Dead Kevin, and all three of those guys are so funny. And then coming back from a LCD Sound System concert once, I saw him on a train and was just like, you're from Dead Kevin. You're so fucking funny. And I was just in the casting process for Vandal. And I'm like, I want to just like bring you in to read for something. And it was way different than all of the other reads for Mr. Kraz, but that was another one where we just like kind of rewrote it for him because
his delivery
so
is so
specific
unique.
and weird.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
He made me laugh every time when he's talking about the student being hot. Like, it's just he strikes such a perfect balance because he makes it somehow charming no matter what he's saying. It's pretty incredible. Yeah.
It was a thing in the writer's room too, where we just knew we actually shot for him for hours because we just wanted him to like riff on every topic so that if we ever needed like a laugh in episode 4 where we're talking about a certain character, we could just have like the Mr. Kraz soundbite and keep the audience going. So he was kind of like a comedic lifeline for us by design. And then he just came in and found a way to just like riff and improvise and make everything really funny.
Yeah, he's a super funny dude. Jacked too. He's jacked for a comedian. He's like a jacked, good-looking guy for a comedian. Yeah. I think like the pandemic is hitting him hardest because he goes to the gym every day and he has no idea what to do. Oh yeah, I think I've seen him at the gym. Gold's. He goes to Gold's on Western, right?
Gold's on Western every single day. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him in there.
Or wait,
nice.
I don't know if that's his goals. I don't know.
I might be wrong. Actually, someone else told me they saw him there.
He's a Golds guy for sure.
Nice. Should we answer some questions? We answer listener questions.
Yeah.
Can you help us answer these?
Yeah, I'm so wise, man. I'm gonna really help these people.
Hell yeah. Hey, Chad and JT, how's it going? Recently, about a day or two ago, this girl I had been friends with told me she liked me, and I had to have my friends walk me through on how to get with her and date her. Is there any advice to make me smoother on getting girls and not having the bros help you out? Very general.
Yeah. It's practice, right? That's what Clay Thompson you got to get out there and you got to shoot. You got to shoot. You got to shoot.
Yeah.
So, like, stop emailing in podcasts. just keep shooting.
Yeah,
dude.
I agree. May he's in the quarantine right now, so maybe play out some scenarios, do some rehearsals, so when you get out into the world, you can crush it.
Yeah, I think now is the time to practice too. I think people are definitely lonely right now. They're eager for connection. They're eager for new experiences, for some kind of excitement. I think you can provide that excitement, dude. Just think of yourself as a lightning rod of fun and bring that positive self-perception into all these encounters, especially with this girl you like, and just tell her what up. I think it's going to go great. But yeah, I think practice is the key. You know, David Mamet said, how do you write a great play? You write a lot of plays. So just, fire off a lot of messages and meet that
the good
special
thing
person.
for him too, he's operating. He's got a good head start because he has girls emailing him saying they like him. So he's got to be like bringing something to the table. Now he just has to learn what his strengths are and just keep capitalizing on it. Exploit the weakness in the defense.
Yeah, it is true too. I think sometimes it can be scarier if someone reaches out to you. It's scary both ways. But if someone reaches out to you, you're almost like you don't want to fumble the ball. You're almost like, oh, they gave me the ball and I'm at the 1 yard line. I really, you kind of get in your head. You're like, I hope I don't drop this thing. It's like, just put one foot in front of the other and then you're in the end zone, baby.
Yeah.
The emotional end zone. I'm not talking about ass. All right. What up, Chad and JT and possible fellow guest legend? What up, Tony? Just want to start off by saying that you guys have been keeping my stoke levels up with your dank positivity and overall vibes in these dark and unprecedented times. So thank you for that. I'm a high school English teacher, and with the current situation, I'm not able to be present in the classroom to spread overall stoke to my students. Rather, we are doing digital learning through online modules. I was wondering what I could do as a teacher to keep my students' stoke levels up during the Q team. Like, should I assign Fast and Furious clips to them to break down and analyze? Do I assign them episodes of the pod to listen to? If you're in high school right now, what would you like your teacher to do? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, having them analyze Fast and Furious clips, I mean, that's a dream scenario. So I think you have the idea right there. You should go for that for sure.
I like this guy.
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah, dude, I think having them analyze Fast and Furious would be really beneficial. I always like the Fast and Furious, but we've been reenacting scenes of it for like content, and we've like been having all of us play our respective parts from our respective quarantines, and I'm playing Vin Diesel, and it gave me such a newfound appreciation of how well he plays that part. Like I had to deliver the line, "You embarrassed me," to Vince, and I put too much anger in it. There wasn't enough family bond in my delivery, but Vin does it so perfectly, you know?
Yeah, you didn't really realize how perfectly crafted it was until you try to like remake it.
Yeah. It's really, really good. So yes.
I guess that's a good quarantine takeaway, yeah.
What else could he assign? Maybe what's another classic? I mean, you could do Speed, Face Off, Con Air, and The Rock.
Yeah.
If I had an English teacher assign me those films, that's a father figure for life.
Maybe Air Force One.
Yeah, dude.
That's one of my first favorite movies. When you say
Air Force One,
the first like R-rated movie. That I felt like I can't believe I'm watching this was Air Force One for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. I love that movie as a kid.
It's nice too because the bad guy is such a clear bad guy and the good guy is such a clear good guy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In these Corona times, it's like I can't punch Corona, but you can fucking throw Gary Oldman out the back of an airplane and snap his neck.
Get off my plane.
Oh, it's Gary Oldman. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, dude, he's a chameleon.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah, he can do it all. Any idea why that guy betrayed the president, the American insider Schmoll guy in that movie?
Money,
Just
dude.
money. It's gross, dude.
Just a bad guy.
He's just a guy. What up, guys? Stoker from Australia here. Not a question, just a recommendation for you guys. Toby Ord, an effective altruist and a philosopher from Oxford, has just released his new book called The Precipice: Existential Risk in the Future of Humanity. I reckon this is going to be a game-changing work. All right, cool. Sorry, not quite a question, but I appreciate the recommendation.
All right.
First off, I want to say thank you to you, hombres of Stoke, for keeping me absolutely loaded during these draining times. Fellas, I bring you a philosophical dilemma. I'm going to a music fest at the end of August, and Corona might not be nullified then. Do I stay or do I go? Am I a schmoll for asking? Anyways, wash your hands, you beauties. He signed to Pascal Siakam, but I'm suspicious of that because his email's different.
It might not actually be Pascal.
I know, dude. I wish so. Fingers crossed.
You can't get anything by you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I too trusting? Like, if they're allowing events like that, it just kind of depends on what the world looks like, right?
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably you're not going to a music festival in August. Like, I feel like at that point, maybe like restaurants will be half open or something. But I'll just do what they tell me to do.
Yeah, I agree. I think I just listen to the CDC and whatever they're saying. I mean, I assume if they're having music festivals in August, it probably would be safe because then they would never allow that. The government wouldn't allow that unless they were completely safe, right?
I do love a world in which, like, you have tickets to a music festival and you're like, what do? I got to know from JT and Chad whether or not it's safe.
Well, yeah, and I feel bad saying that enough out this dude's optimism. I mean, I think we all have to have things to look forward to, but I don't see us being out of the woods to the point where we're having 50,000 person get-togethers by August.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but I'm a pessimist when it comes to these things, and some of my confidence in expert predictions has been eroded. They just
what do you,
like.
Oh, go ahead.
Like, dude, this is tangential, but I'm super pissed. Like, now they're telling us to wear masks.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, dude? I had masks and I felt bad for having masks, so I gave my mask away. And then literally the next day, they're like, you should be wearing masks. I was like, dude, I had the fucking mask and you told me not to hoard it. And I listened to you. And now I'm potentially fucked. Like, the story keeps changing. So I'm playing it safe. I'm not leaving my mom's until I'm not leaving my mom's ever, dude. I'm here for the long haul. I'll see you in January, homies.
What do you guys think events will look like? Like, do you think they'll be checking for fevers and stuff? Because they're doing that in China, right? Like they check your fever with like a little gun.
Yeah, I think they'll be doing fingerprint, 15-minute like diabetes test to see if you have COVID. But dude, I'm reading articles that say those things have a 30% false negative rate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what Germany is planning on. They said they want to do like the antibodies test and give people like certificates that say they've had it.
Yeah.
That seems cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's a great idea. The antibody test seems like the best possible route out of this thing.
Dude, that'd be pretty sweet to get an antibody test and find out you had it. That would fire me up.
Dude, I hope I had it already and didn't give it to my mom and I'm just on easy street now. But dude, now they're saying I'll leave all my pessimism behind me after this. But have you
that
guys
you
seen
could
this?
get it again.
The reinfection.
Oh my God. I hope that's just the Chinese fucking up the test.
Is that
Please.
just like the boogeyman media being like, hey guys, what's the scariest thing we could possibly put in your feed today? Here it is.
Yeah.
Well, is it a reinfection, or is it just like it never fully leaves the body, so it comes back, whatever that's called, like a recurrence or I read that. I don't know.
Yeah, they're talking about reinfection. Like the doctor that Joe Rogan had on said, like, we just don't know if you get it, beat it, that you're immune. We just don't know yet.
Right.
Great. I'd love it if they knew one thing about this thing. I'd love it if they had one thing that I could count on. But it seems like
don't feed it after
you
midnight.
are though. Is that the vast majority of coronaviruses, once you have it, you're immune from.
Oh, is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So this would have to be a really abnormal coronavirus for you to be able to reinfect.
Did you see?
I don't know.
Did you see any of this coming, or did it catch you completely by surprise? Because I honestly didn't see any of this coming up until like the week before.
Yeah. I was at the very last Lakers game before.
Oh,
The
really?
next day, the NBA was canceled.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Like, it wasn't until Rudy Gobert that
Yeah.
it got real for me.
Tom Hanks was the same day.
Real. Yeah, Tom Hanks and Rudy Gobert back to back was the moment where it's not like I didn't know it was real, but I'm like, oh, the rest of the year is going to be severely different.
Yeah.
You know what else is crazy is it gets real, and then your brain wants to return to normalcy, to what we've known normalcy to be, and you go back to being normal, and then you get hit with another news fact that puts you back into like, oh shit, nothing's normal. This is a new reality. You need to remember that so that you don't get cocky. That's my day-to-day.
I've been looking at a website. It's covid19.healthdata.org, and they have like charts for like projections, and this guy he works at like University of Washington, but it's pretty optimistic that like by June the numbers will be way low, according to this guy.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I think I can keep my brain together.
I think that's true, but then once we start letting stuff open again, it shoots back. So it's gonna be a metering thing where like, okay, people can start going back into restaurants at half capacity. Okay, now full capacity. Okay, now we're closing movie theaters again. Like I think it's gonna be a long time of like back and forth until we have the vaccine in like a year.
That's crazy.
Wait, so how do you make a TV show in those conditions?
I hope that it's open, that like I don't think big music festivals are going to happen for a while. But it's very possible when the numbers are really dipping that you're like a movie set where there's 50 people and they have other like restrictions and precautions where people let that happen, because I don't know what else are you going to do. Like we can't, it's untenable to just like not produce anything in any industry for a year. We have to, the world needs to keep moving. I don't know.
I guess just for us, we shoot a lot of stuff at conferences and big gatherings.
Cool.
That's kind of like but now I'm going to be doing it with a N95 mask, 2 gloves, and a hazmat suit, and some kind of blaster that shoots out sanitizing foam.
Dude, we can zoom into city council meetings. I think they're doing that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can you do public comment from Zoom? should do
I
that.
think
That's
so.
hilarious. Yeah.
I think we should figure out how to do that.
Yeah. All right.
Are you guys spotted right away when you do that now?
Yeah.
It varies. Most places, yeah, but there are others, like Glendale, for example, where they just have no idea. So, those are we hit those more frequently.
Yeah, it's better when they don't know us, but sometimes some of them do know us. It's actually pretty hilarious too, because like it's funny to watch the relationship evolve,
Yeah.
Like at Manhattan Beach, they kind of hated us, and now when we come in, they're like, "Hey guys, it's good to see you," and like they've kind of they're trying a new tactic now. They're treating us as allies rather than foes.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Those videos are so funny.
Oh, thank you.
I sent those to everybody.
I did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're fun to do.
Yeah.
Right. My dudes, I'm a new stoker from all the way in Ireland, and I want to thank you, bros. Since I've started listening to the pod, my stoke has raised and has significantly helped my mental health. Thanks, bros. My question is, one of my bros came back from a year away, and I was stoked to have him back, but another bro and him recently had a falling out, and now he told him he doesn't want to hang out with him anymore. I'm close to both bros and aren't sure if I can help the sitch or how to move forward. Big love from Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I need to know what the falling out was too. Like, did one of the bros deeply betray the other bro? Because then you probably got to go with the bro who didn't do the betrayal. Unfortunately, even if you like the other bro more, you kind of got to go on morality if it's a deep enough betrayal.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I tend to be Switzerland with those things, unless it's like it's got to be a pretty deep betrayal. Otherwise, I'm just like, come on, guys, we're all adults. You can hang out with each other, and you invite them both places, and you just kind of don't acknowledge their rift. That's what I do. Bury my head in the sand and pretend it doesn't exist.
One of my buddies stole my car, and I was always pretty frustrated with my friends who still hung out with him. But
what do you mean your buddy stole your car?
Like I left the keys in it at night, and he stole it. Didn't tell me he had it, and had it for a couple months. And then, but some of my homies still hung out with him after the fact because they were really, and he was a cool guy, but he did an uncool thing. and I would like be kind of disappointed in my friends when they did it, but you know what? It just made me work harder to get closer to them so I could push them out of the picture with just being a better hang, I guess.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, if it's car stealing bad, I don't know. That seems to be the line.
I guess I'm asking you, Tony. Would you still be friends with the guy who stole the car?
I don't know. How cool was he? He seems pretty cool.
He was pretty cool.
Your friend's car for months. That guy sounds crazy. He sounds like the best time of all time.
When I found the car, he left his bong in it and a really cool album with like Seosin on it.
That is insane to just steal. And did you go to school together, high school together?
We both got kicked out of the same high school and then went to different high schools.
So you guys were both very cool. That
yeah, but he was more like he had criminal edge. I was more of just like loud.
Yeah. I don't know. I was not hanging out with friends that were doing stuff like nearly that cool. So I don't have any experience. But that guy sounds like a blast. Who
was like your posse in growing up?
I ran track and cross country. So I was with like, relatively good kids, and they would sometimes help me make my movies and stuff, and I would do the video yearbook, and I'd pay them $20 to be the B cam, and then they're on the basketball team and stuff like that. We would play poker a lot, which we're doing now in quarantine. A lot of my high school buddies are, there are sites where you can just play money online and then Venmo each other afterwards.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You still tight with your high school bros?
Yeah. I'm in a fantasy football league with 12 of them. Same 12 since 2001. We were in 8th grade.
It's the fucking
Wow.
greatest. Same thing for me. Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah. Kids that like I never would, good dudes, and I just get to like keep that relationship somewhat alive because we have to figure out a trade before the deadline.
Are any of them in California, or are they all spread out all over the country?
One of them was, I think, but he moved back to North Carolina or something. I don't know. Yeah, they're all still on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Do they think you're Hollywood?
Yeah, man. I named there are like characters in American Vandal that are named after them and stuff.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that because legal would never approve stuff like that. Just like they didn't approve the Rams game footage. Like if it's similar to anybody you can't use it.
Interesting.
But nobody's sued me yet.
Right. They're all probably deeply honored.
Yeah.
That's cool. What's like your favorite thing you've written that you couldn't shoot because it just wasn't like feasible?
I don't know. That's tough. I don't really have a good answer to that. Do you have an answer for something you wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we wanted to host the White House Correspondents' Dinner, but like, just
Yeah, that's still that's still a possibility.
And we wanted to get on stage at Cola. We've had a couple where like I think honestly, I think it'll happen at some point, but it's just we didn't get it on our initial. And what I mean by initial attempt is we literally just said it out loud, and that was the extent of it. Chad, do you want to do an ad read and then we'll get into the beefs, babes, and legends?
Yeah. One sec. I've got new quarantine ad read, so. Okay, what's up, guys? I'm interrupting this podcast to let you know once again that we are brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped, thank you so much for keeping our trims pubed, for looking after our hogs, for making sure that our dongs look fresh and clean, because you know that it's time to quarantine, Manscaped, and chill. Manscaped is the only men's brand dedicated to below the waist grooming and hygiene. And guys, do not miss out when you're in the Q-teen. Do not miss out on the forever changing grooming game kit, the Perfect Package 3.0 Essentials Kit. Perfect tools for your family jewels. They got anti-chafing ball deodorant. Whoa, they've got deodorant. No, and then they got the Lawnmower 3.0, which has the best ball shaving technology on the market, guys. I mean, you do not want to miss out on this, because you want to come out of this self-isolation with a freshly groomed pube area. So yeah, use the code GoDeep20 at manscaped.com to get 20% off free shipping. That's GoDeep20, manscaped.com, 20% off and free shipping. All right, back to the show.
Dude, it's so important to like keep up like the appearances, you know what I mean? It's so easy to just be
Absolutely.
like, I'm just gonna wear underwear all day or not shave for like a year. But it's like your subconscious knows you're not taking care of yourself. So you gotta treat yourself like you're still, your full going out normal life self.
Absolutely. Tony, I forgot to ask, have you been manscaping lately?
I actually have the lawnmower, dude.
What?
You do?
Yes,
Oh,
dude.
And it came just as quarantine was starting, and my girlfriend was like, "Who are you trying to impress? What's happening right now?" Yeah, she was skeptical.
Yeah.
And it's making me feel better.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, I've been manscaping every day.
I love it, dude. I can tell.
Yeah,
Chad,
thank you.
So, Tony, were you able to prepare a beef, babe, and legend of the week for this segment of the pod?
Yeah, I got it. Do I go beef first? Is that how it starts?
I was going to throw it to Chad first. And so if you want to – no, but hey.
No, Chad. I can't go first. Mine aren't that good.
I bet they're pretty solid. Chad, who is your beef of the week?
My beef of the week is with the SpaghettiOs can packaging. I was treating myself yesterday, having some SpaghettiOs, and I had two, and every time I opened the can, the sauce would spray everywhere. And yeah, just I was trying to treat myself, have a good time, and it really put a damper on my evening. So, I think if they just went with a traditional can opener instead of the pole, that would prevent a lot less spillage. And because now my kitchen is just full of tomato sauce. So, yeah, it's my beef. Pretty simple one, but I just had to call them out for it. So that's what's up.
Legend. Tony, what's your beef of the week?
I've been thinking a lot about like what's essential now as jobs and what isn't, because it's so surprising like how much we rely on grocery store workers and delivery drivers, and it's kind of recalibrated how I look at society. And in this recalibration, I'm like, who's still like the least essential job is bathroom attendants. Like, I hope when this is all done, like we realize that's still a not essential job, and we don't have to go through this charade of like me reaching to my wallet and giving you $1 because you handed me a towel. It seems like a job we can just eliminate.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Not a service.
Watching you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
what other jobs? Like if there was a job for somebody to just like play ukulele at a library, you would say, let's get rid of this job. This person is making the library worse. I don't know how society let this happen, but if we're like looking at what jobs are essential and what aren't, get rid of it.
Done.
Yeah, I rarely carry cash too, so I always feel bad when I'm in there and I'm like, I don't have anything to tip with.
And tip
it's always
what?
just
bacon, dude.
Yeah,
Give me some
right.
bacon, bro.
Bacon.
Are you using the cologne or something? I don't know.
No, I just feel like you have to tip, right? I mean,
Right.
because they're in there.
It's customary.
I don't know. But yeah, I always try to. Do you take some of the candy or anything?
No,
or do you just sort of beeline it out?
Yeah, I just try to wash my hands and be polite. But I don't know. Non-essential.
Yeah. My beef of the week is I already went off on it, so I'll keep it brief. Just on the ever-changing stream of information, I'm deeply disappointed in how the information's been disseminated about this thing and how it's frequently backtracks or contradicts what we had established as a very important truth. It's like I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to have faith that someone out there is looking out for me and is going to save me, but I feel like that has been chipped away at a little bit. I still have faith. I believe in the collective good of humanity, and I think we'll all come together and rise out of this better than we were before. Maybe not me, but everybody else for sure. I got a lot of faith in everybody else. Dude, I'm just a coward. But yeah, let's figure out what we're saying and stick to it. Aaron, do you have a beef of the week?
Sorry. I do. My beef of the week is COVID-19, but for a reason not yet established. It's because it pushed back the release of Top Gun Maverick to the winter.
Yeah.
Great call, Aaron.
And that is not a winter movie. That is something I wanted to walk out of, stoked, into sunshine, into warmth, and now it's December something.
Dude, such a good beef, dude. Chad, who is your babe of the week?
My babe of the week, I saw this article in the New York Post that rim jobs have been outlawed. And, because you can spread it. I guess it's in fecal matter. So, you know, I'm not a big rim job guy. I've dabbled here and there, but you know, suddenly when it's outlawed, that sort of makes you kind of like take a step back and just think of how much you miss some of the things that you take for granted. So I just want to give a shout out to rim jobs. You may be outlawed right now, but you will return, and I will pay homage to you. I was watching the Dave episode today about eating ass. I'm like, we can't do that right now.
Yeah. That hole's gonna be glowing.
It's gonna be, yeah.
It's gonna be like the Shire.
I've been visualizing it. Yeah.
That's actually my girlfriend plays Allie in Hulu. So
oh, really?
That's my quarantine buddy right now. So I don't know.
Oh, nice.
Wait, your girlfriend's the lead in Dave?
Yeah.
That's
oh,
awesome.
she's amazing, dude.
Yeah,
she's
she's
so good on the
so
show.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's so
That's
good.
awesome. Did you talk much with Greg Mottola? I'm a big fan of him too.
Yeah, he's a really smart guy. He seemed really cool. We overlapped a few days. He had a scene picking up in my block, or I was shooting a scene from my block in his, and yeah, it's just like you could tell he's just like a pro.
Yeah. All right. Who's your babe of the week? Oh, you said it, right? Did you say it? No.
Well, Taylor,
You did say it.
Allie from Hulu, but also I mentioned earlier too. I was talking about the people who are delivering groceries to my grandmother, and like it's so cool that people are doing that, and it also is like making me hate myself a little bit for like I should be doing something like that. It's cool that you're taking food to hospitals.
Aaron, do you have a babe of the week?
I do. I have a couple babes this week. My babe, first babe, is a COVID-19 survivor. It is my favorite baseball player of all time, Jim Edmonds.
He got it?
Yeah, former Anaheim Angel and Cardinal, and then he went Pirates, Cubs, Brewers, Reds. But yeah, he got it. Came down with some bad symptoms. Was in the ER for like a few hours. It seems they sent him home because they're like, you're not in respiratory failure, and you're in good shape. So they sent him home, and like the next day he was fine.
Wow.
So it's the power of being one of the best center fielders of all time, I guess.
Best catch I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, Superman catch is amazing. Look it up if you have not, Stokers. And then my second babe of the week is my mom. She was tested for it, and today came back negative. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Was she feeling under the weather?
She just had a cough and a sore throat, and her doctor was just being super cautious and just like, well, let's make sure you don't. And she didn't.
Right.
Dude,
that's good news.
Good,
awesome.
Good.
My babe of the week is my friend Hannah. She's a really hilarious comedian. She has a new Snapchat show called Get Money for Comedy Central, and it's really good. And she's just been a really good friend during this whole quarantine. We call each other freaking out all the time, FaceTiming, and we always think we have corona, and we just call each other and get walked back off the ledge. And yeah, I'm just grateful to have her in my life, and it's nice to have friends you can turn to when you're feeling squirrely. So thank you, Hannah, for the support and for your show. It's really funny. Chad, who's your legend of the week?
My legend of the week is my dad. He's a doctor, so he's not on the front line. He's a hand surgeon, but he's still going into work, and I just wanted to give him a shout out. Just for he's staying strong, staying optimistic, and he's just a beast. He loves what he does. He loves doing surgery. He loves working out, and it's kind of scary having him still go to work because he's there are coronavirus cases at the hospital, but his optimism is keeping me optimistic. So, yeah, I just want to give a shout out.
That's awesome.
Good. Yeah.
Tony, who's your legend of the week?
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice.
I love that place unironically so much. We would go, there's one right by us where I would have, we're sports gamblers. So Taylor will pick a parlay or I'll pick a parlay, and then we'll go to Buffalo Wild Wings and watch the games on the TV as we're eating. Now there's no sports. You can't sit down at Buffalo Wild Wings, but we have the sauce and the hot and wild sauces, and she likes the Parmesan garlic. The sauces are just, they're excellent. So it's not much of a hot take. It's not the coolest like underground tip, but I love it.
Yeah, I
That's
love
awesome.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
I love buffalo sauce. I think we talked about it on the last podcast.
Yeah.
I love buffalo
Well,
sauce more than anything.
And Buffalo Wild Wings is really good because it's like as hot as it can get, where it still tastes like buffalo. Where a lot of like wings, when they get too hot, they lose the essence of what we love about the flavor.
That tang.
They have a lot of locations for a reason.
Yeah. What part of town are you in?
I'm in Hollywood, West Hollywood.
Oh, nice.
I'm normally at Hayworth and Melrose, but I've escaped to
we're
Orange
close.
County. Nice, dude. Hey, let's.
Yeah.
Well, that actually, I'll jump in real quick. Then that brings me to my legend. I don't know if you know about this. The best restaurant in LA just shut down, besides Buffalo Wild Wings. My favorite place to hang out in the world. A place that is very near and dear to my heart. Swingers Diner. I think it is genuinely my favorite restaurant in the world. I go there. My girlfriend would get upset with me because I'd be like, she's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "Eating." She's like, "Are you at Swingers again?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." And I had my order down to like a science. I'd get the steak, no fries, extra broccoli, side salad, balsamic vinaigrette, no tomatoes, strawberry and peanut butter smoothie if I was extra hungry with almond milk. And then, and yeah, the staff was amazing. You always saw other comedians in there that you could shoot the shit with. They kept long hours, so you could go there at 2, 3 in the morning. Chad, we'd always go there after our show at the Hollywood Improv, and it was always a place that we'd go get a sundae afterwards to kind of just like commemorate a special experience. And it's one of the really sad parts about this entire ordeal is that places like that were doing great are now forced to go under. So it's
wait, so it's closed forever?
I don't know if it's just closed temporarily. I've heard both things, and I really haven't done my due diligence. I know they have a GoFundMe up, so if you're a fan of Swingers and you live in LA, check it out and contribute.
That's scary.
I mean, I know there's a ton of stuff to contribute right now, so you have to choose judiciously. But yeah, if you like Swingers, kick in because it's the best.
Yeah. Damn.
I know, dude. Aaron, what's your legend of the week?
So my legend of the week is I don't know if you guys see on Netflix, but they got a bunch of Jeopardy episodes, and I was watching. Just got back into trivia during the quarantine, and my friends have been hosting some like trivias over Zoom and stuff like that, and Twitch. So I got back into it through using Jeopardy as a tool, and I got through like a whole season worth of it. And then you come to the end of that season, and the contestant that was winning like 6 games in a row was this woman who kind of looks like Kate McCucci. She was real soft-spoken, and I was always like, why is she so soft-spoken? She's so smart. She's like really good at this. And then at the end of the 6th episode, when she finally does lose, Alex Trebek says she had stage 4 colon cancer this whole time, and she died before the episode's ever aired. She won like $100,000. All that money went to cancer charities. So Cindy Stowell was her name, and she is a legend.
Total legend.
Yeah.
Fuck you to death.
Wow.
Big
Wow.
fuck you to death. Chad, what's your quote of the week?
My quote is, I don't know if I've done this before, but it's from Wedding Crashers. I caught Wedding Crashers the other day. Such a good movie. And it's from Will Ferrell, from his cameo. Just going to be one line. Yeah. Crazy horny. That's my quote.
Dude, I think that's Will Ferrell's best performance. I really think it's
so
his
good.
top one. Yeah. In the theater when he came on screen, and I was just like, oh, yes. Fuck yes. Yeah.
I was like, you're living the dream. He's just... Yeah.
What's yours, Tony? Do you have a quote of the week?
I forgot to do a quote, but I was just watching there's a Trump clip where he's talking to some reporter, and he's just like yelling at the reporter, and he's like, "You'll never make it."
Really?
Such an insane playground fight. You'll never make it just stuck out to me.
Yeah. But I'm gonna do a Sopranos one. This was always one of my favorite ones from the Sopranos. It's they're arguing about what to do with their mother, Tony and his sister, and she says that they should send her back to Green Grove, the old folks' home where she was at. He's like, they won't take her back at Green Grove, and then they chime in, and then he gets so frustrated. He goes, "She was abusive to the staff," and I always that you just have to love him.
She'd be like, "You can't send me back to that nursing home. It's a retirement community."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so funny. Aaron, what's your quote of the week?
My quote of the week is from the Shawshank Redemption. It's in Andy's letter to Red that he's following at the end of the movie. Remember, Red, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. And I think that's what we need right now.
Fucking crush it with the quotes. You had Return of the King last week. God damn, dude. Thank you, man.
Come hard.
Chad, do you have a phrase of the... Should we end it? Chad, do you just want to end it with your phrase of the week for getting after it?
Oh, yeah. I haven't even thought of one. Well, let's see. Let's flatten the curve.
Dude, perfect. Yeah.
Right.
Tony, thank you so much for coming on.
This was fun. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, dude, thank you so much for doing it, man. It was a real pleasure.
And Stokers, check out Dave on Hulu, American Vandal on Netflix. And yeah, I was watching Dave all day. It's great.
Dude, it's so good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Don't go anywhere, guys. Don't go anywhere.
I'm going to play Halo if anyone wants to play.
Dude, you got to do Call of Duty, baby.
I like bagging dudes on Halo.
You just like the teabag, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But I'll go on to Call of Duty too.
No, I respect the teabagging. I think it's special, but I wish it was better
Yeah.
in Call of Duty, and then we could have both. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
me too.
All right,
Maybe
later,
the newer version. All right, guys.
Yeah.
See you later.
Thanks, guys.
If you need advice,